everyone, Tina here. I hope your day is going fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I'm so excited to share with you 3 cards using the Simon Says Stamp September 2025 card kit. The card kit is so much fun. Has loaded with all things birthday. In fact, it's called Birthday Blitz. I have it under here. We're going to go over the kit contents really quickly. I already dove into some of them. Okay, I took my kit out of the bag and out of the box. And first off, I fell in love with the stamp set. This is the Birthday Blitz stamp set. You get some fun waves. There is a coordinating die set that will cut out these images, but there's sun, clouds. This could even be a burst, which is really nice. I love the big greetings in here. There's even a little smiley face if you want to put it on the sun. So that is included. It's a large 6x8 stamp set. Also included is an embossing folder. I fell in love with this too. I love all things birthday in here. They just filled up an A2 panel with birthday, so nothing's cut off. This could actually be the greeting for a card. It's called Birthday Sentiments. So you get an embossing folder. And then it kept going and going and going with the die sets. I was like, wow, there are 4 dies in here. 4 dies in this Birthday Blitz card kit. There is the party balloon. The party balloon is 2 pieces. We'll be using this on our card today. There is a super cute Ferris wheel. And then there's rubber ducky, which is so adorable. It's so easy to put together too. And then there is also the Poppin' Corn die set. I love this. Okay, and then, oops, we lost the ducky's beak. Okay, and then there's also 19 A2 panels of Simon Says Stamp's 100-pound cardstock. So all of these, and they're a rainbow of colors. I already used some of mine, but they're all A2 panels and nice weight. So this is a huge pack. 19 A2 panels of colored cardstock and a rainbow of colors. That's included. The pack is actually thicker. I used some. And then there's 2 sheets of easy strips, and these are birthday easy strips. I had already cut mine out, but what easy strips are, it comes in a sheet like this, and you can use your paper trimmer to cut them out. I'm putting them in wrong here, but you could use your paper trimmer to cut them out. But what Simon Says Stamp does have with the easy strips is a coordinating die, which I happen to have. So all you would do is line up this on the panel that's included in the kit, and then you can cut it out. And you can do that with lots of easy strips that Simon Says Stamp has in their shop. But it's all things birthday in here. And we'll be using this on our card today. Put those to the side. And I believe there's a black one too. I didn't get the black one, but I believe there's a white easy strip and a black easy strip that comes in the kit that are birthday themed. Okay, next we get an 8.5 by 11 sheet of some metallic cardstock. This is a 100-pound weight, and the back side is nice and matte, easy to die cut. It's the holographic diagonal rainbow, and let me make sure I'm saying that right. It's the holographic rainbow diagonal 100-pound cardstock from Simon. So that is also included. And then lastly, there are 12 sheets of Simple Stories pattern papers, which I love. The collection is called Fun Times, and they're 6x8 sheets. And again, you get 12 of them. They're double-sided. And we're going to be using some pattern papers on our project today. And then, so pattern papers are included. I love the colors of these. I love how bright and cheery it is. It's just perfect for birthdays. And then also included is a 1/4 sheet of the foam strips. These are great for making shakers, but you know what they're also great for? Popping up your greetings. So that makes it wonderful. So that is everything in Simon Says Stamp Birthday Blitz card kit. We're going to jump in and get started with our first card. For my first card, we're going to make a balloon card. And my inspiration was actually from the cut apart, which I cut a little bit off the left and a little bit off the right from our pattern paper. And I went through our A2 card front panels that came with our kit this month, and I did some die cutting with our party balloon. Okay, we cut out 5 balloons, and 3 of them have the accent pieces, and then the light yellow and then the darker red, I just die cut out the balloon. We don't need the accent pieces because they're going to be tucked behind here. Okay, we're going to just use our glue and layer all the accent pieces on our balloons. Once these are adhered, I'm going to bring in some inks, and we're going to add a little bit of color to the balloons. For this balloon, we're going to add a little bit of pink. Let me put this away here. And I'm just going to go on one side and just do a little bit of shading. Okay, and then with the blue, let's bring in some surf ink. A little highlight. Just makes them dimensional. For my yellow balloon, we're going to bring in some yellow ink. With these 3 balloons, we're going to flip them over, and I'm going to secure some string behind here, just using a foam square. Okay, we'll add one more. Okay, now that we have foam tape behind here, we're going to bring in our cut apart. And again, I took about 1/8 of an inch off the left and the right. Okay, I'm going to layer this as it is on my cut apart. But we're going to stick all of these together. Starting off with the red. I'm going to add a little glue here, and then we're going to add the yellow. Makes a great template. Let that adhere. I'm going to use my scissors. Okay, if you have a craft knife, it would actually work out better. But just above the love you, I'm going to cut a slit. Let me bring in my ruler. And again, if you have a craft knife, it would work better. But just above the love you, I'm going to add a slit. Okay. And then I'm also going to use the same ruler, and I'm going to cut a slit in just below the bunch. Okay. So we have a slit above the love you, and then we have a slit below the bunch. Now I popped up these balloons with some foam tape, and then we're going to take the green, and we're going to weave the string behind the back so it comes out the end. This is what the back looks like. Almost like we're sewing, but we're not. And then we will tack down this balloon here. Lovely. And then we'll do the pink one. I just removed the release paper. We'll take the end, we'll tuck it in here. Then we can pull it through. Okay, and then we can tuck this. I think little details like this just make so much difference. Adding textures on your cards is so nice. I'm going to tuck another foam square between both of these balloons. I'm going to add another foam square to the top too. We'll have another level with the blue balloon. Okay, and then we'll tuck this in here. We'll pull it through the bottom. Okay, and then we can add this balloon here. And we can have all we have all the strings bundled up down here on the bottom. After we have this done, I did create a bow and put a glue dot behind it, and we're going to add the bow to the very bottom here. And that is all there is to that. We have a greeting and we have our focal point all in one. I just love this. Okay, we're going to, should we round the corners on this? We'll just round the corners. Okay, I'm also going to do some faux stitching. I'm going to add some stitch detail around here. Never underestimate the power of white stitches around your panels. The white gel pen takes a little bit of time to dry, so while that dries, we'll put this to the side. I'm going to bring in some pattern papers. I have this sheet and this sheet. This sheet we're going to trim down. Let's trim it down to a panel that measures, oh, we have the balloons behind here. That's even better. I wasn't going to use the balloons, I was going to use this, but let's use the balloons instead. I think that would be fun. Okay, I'm going to trim down the balloon pattern paper to a panel that measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then we'll tack this to the front of our card base. The polka dot striped. This is the reverse side with the little labels. I'm going to add this just down the middle. Okay, and then I am going to flip this over. I'm going to put foam tape behind here, and we're going to tack this down right in the middle. I'm going to put foam tape generously because this way it'll secure everything here. That makes a really fun card. Now I'm going to embellish this card. We're going to use some Simon Says Stamp Starbright Embellishment Mix. I think this is perfect for birthdays. And this is kind of a universal card. It'd be great for anybody, which is really nice. And that will finish off my first card. Now we're going to jump into our second card. For this next card, we're going to do some stamping with our stamp set. And we're taking this heart here, and we're going to take this heart here, and we're going to create a circle with them. And I wanted some inks that matched this pattern paper. I love this pattern paper. Okay, so I went through my inks. I'm using my Pink Fresh Studio inks for this. I have apricot, and we'll stamp this. Lovely. And then I have coral reef. Okay. And then my last color is a light one. It's ballet slipper. We'll stamp this. Okay, now I'm going to keep the inks out and I'm going to use the same colors, and we're going to fill in. This heart will fill in the hearts on here. So using the ballet slipper, we will ink up. We'll add ballet slipper to this first one. Wonderful. And then we'll use coral reef, of course, on the ballet pink ballet. Wonderful. And then, I have to wipe it off here, we're going to use our apricot on this one. Okay, now after we have this done, I have a die that we're going to use to cut out each of these. Okay, I will tape these down and run these through and do a little die cutting, and I'll be right back. So now I have a whole bunch of circles, kind of going with this kind of a theme. I die cut out some slightly smaller circles with the gray cardstock that came with our A2 panels, and actually I really love this gray. I have to check Simon's shop and see what color this is. But I really love this. Okay, now you'll notice when I cut out my circles, I cut them out in the middle because I'm actually going to use this on my card base. Let's attach this to the card base. So this panel is actually doing double duty, but nobody will tell. Nobody will know the difference. Okay. Okay, now with these, we are going to layer all three together. Our hearts are going to go on the gray. Okay, and then I think I'm going to pop up the gray hearts now on the white cardstock, but I'm going to use some foam squares. Okay, and that's all there is to that. Now we're going to adhere our pattern paper. That was our inspiration. I trimmed it down to 4 inches by 5 1/4, and then this is going to go right over our card base. Okay, and then I have a strip of that orange pattern paper. I'm going to add this, and maybe we should add another stripe paper. Let's see. Maybe I'm gonna trim down let's trim down some of this grid paper. We're gonna add both of these right in a row here. Anything overhanging, I'm gonna trim off with my scissors. I love playing with pattern paper. It's my favorite. Okay, now we're going to add all three of our little circles in a little cluster, kind of overlapping them. Okay, now let's stamp our greeting. Actually, you know, for our greeting, let's use our easy strips. Wonderful. And we have lots of greetings left over. I think this is just wonderful. And I'm pretty sure Simon will sell those in the shop too. But okay, so now we have our greeting. Now I'm going to finish this card off with a little extra sparkle. Super fun. Okay, we're going to move on to our next card. We're going to create a ducky. How cute is this guy? Okay, we're going to use the yellow cardstock and the orange cardstock that came with our A2 panels. Okay, we die cut out the rubber ducky, and I used our light yellow cardstock, our A2 panel, and then the orange, and then I did use the black too to create the eye. Let's add a little ink to this cute little rubber ducky. Let's bring back our citrine ink. I'm mixing my inks today. Okay, let's add a little color to our rubber ducky, and I'm just going over to one side, and then we will add a little color here. Lovely. And then with our beak, I did use my red ink today, so I'm going to add a little color to the tip of the beak with my blending brush here. There we go. Okay, now to put this guy together, it's very easy. I'm going to bring in my small foam squares. Okay, we're going to add a little glue here, and then we can add the beak. That's a good spot. I'm going to add a little dot of glue, and we'll add the eye because I know I'll lose it if I don't do it now. Whenever I see rubber duckies, I always think of cruising. Time for a cruise. They always leave rubber duckies everywhere with little notes. So much fun. Let's scoot this over a little bit. And that is all there is to this cute little rubber ducky. So cute. I am going to flip this over and put some foam tape behind here. Okay, now in our pattern paper there was a tag sheet. Okay, I really like this one, and I like the blue down here. I'm actually going to take my paper trimmer and trim off some of this blue here. Okay. And then I also trimmed out this tag that was in our pattern paper too. I am going to add an eyelet to this with my crocodile. Okay, we will just secure this a little bit better. I never know what settings to use on the small ones, but that will work. Okay, I'm going to bring in some white twine, and then we'll just thread our tag. Okay, and then I'm going to put some foam tape behind here. Okay. Now, with this piece, I'm going to add some glue. The sun's going down. I have to close my blinds. I'll be right back. Okay. Hopefully I can get this done before you can't see anymore. We're going to add glue to the lighter teal. Okay, and then I'm going to add my pattern paper right below it. I'm going to take a rectangle die and I'm going to cut this out. But I'm making sure it's centered with all of these, okay? And I think that looks like it's just about centered. Okay, let's take this apart. I think this makes a fun pattern. Doesn't it look so fun? Okay, I'll take this and put this on my card base. Okay, I didn't use the embossing folder today, but I did create a card for Simon Says Stamp that I think you guys are gonna love. So head on over to Simon Says Stamp. I made a pretty amazing card with a kit using the embossing folder and the popcorn die that was in our kit. Okay, I'm gonna take the Lucky Duck and let's see. I'm going to take this tag and I'm going to place it at an angle and place it towards the center here. Okay, then I'm going to tie a bow with this. Kind of at an angle here, and I need to double up on this foam tape on the side here so everything is nice and flush. Maybe we'll tilt it this way. Okay, and then we're going to bring back our easy strips here, and I would just want to put a small happy birthday here. Okay, so I'm going to take Wishing You A, add a little glue here, and I'm going to put this over here. Okay, and then we will trim off what's overhanging over here. I switched out my greeting that said Wishing You A for Have a Magical. I think the font was more closer in size, and so I think that's going to work out better. I did tear my paper when I removed my Wishing You A, so I had to do card surgery here, but I don't think it's that noticeable. But I like the font of this, and it went the length of my card base. We'll finish this card off with a little extra sparkle also. And that will finish off my Lucky Duck card. You can see where I added another piece of paper here, but I don't think it's too noticeable. So these are the 3 cards that we made today with the Simon Says Stamp September 2025 card kit called Birthday Bliss. Super fun cards. This is such a fabulous kit. I hope this gives you a little bit of inspiration. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for sticking with me to the end. I have 2 more videos that you guys might be interested here. If you guys are new and like the content that you see, click that subscribe button and also the notification bell. That way for future videos, be notified. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It sure does help the channel. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.